questions on this
Talking about
side.
sleeping a guy, your boy Jake Paul, he's fighting a real boxer now.
Right.
I know you know him very well. You've seen his progression, man.
Yeah.
What do you think about this matchup? It looks like it's the real deal.
I don't know too much about Hasim Rahman Jr. except his last fight. I think if Jake's improved since the Woodley fight, because before he knocked out Woodley cold, I didn't like how he was fighting, personally. I didn't like where he was at conditioning-wise. But if he's improved from then, I think he could beat Hasim Rahman Jr. But Hasim Rahman Jr. has a lot of experience from his dad and whatnot. But then again, I don't know too much about Hasim Rahman Jr. He's not his father, so I can't really say.
Okay, what were you saying, Sean?
Hasim, he looked ready at the press conference.
He looks big like a house.
He is. You know, look at the protocols that Jake is taking him to at this point. You know what I mean? How did Jake learn these little tricks? You know what I mean?
BJ Flores.
You gotta. There you go, BJ. That's great experience to have in your corner. You know, not somebody that was at the elite level in boxing, but somebody that clearly is very knowledgeable in the sport. Could give him knowledge in terms of how to make sure Hasim is not 100% on fight night. I do think that the rehydration protocol is going to be a problem. I think that the weight in itself is going to be a problem. And still, you can't help, especially when it's Hasim, to expect him to do big things. And, you know, it's funny because you got the boxing world that's ready to knock Jake Paul down. I'm not really ready to knock him down. But then you got the other side of the world that's like they don't understand, and they're so for Jake. You know, I think as long as he's in the ring, I want it to be a good fight. As long as he's in the ring, I do want him to be able to show that, you know, people can come from something else and box, and people can come from boxing and do something else. That's what I'm trying to prove to people now. You know what I mean? So I think in a lot of ways we've kind of flipped sides. But at the end of the day, again, you know, you go back and you take a look at it, it's Hasim Rahman Jr., you know, so we're always going to be rooting for him.
What did you make of the press conference, man? Hasim he went at him. He's playing his game, you know, that talking game.
Yeah.
What did you make of the press conference?
I like that Hasim, he seems to be like he has his mind made up on what he wants to do. He's very definitive in terms of what he is expecting from this fight. He's expecting to be the first guy to beat Jake Paul. He's expecting, you know, this to be a real boxing match. You know, I don't think that prior to this fight, there hasn't been a true boxing match that Jake Paul has been in. And, you know, Jake is, you know, hey, if I win, you do this, you do that. Hasim's like, nah, man, that ain't where I come from. I come from, we fight, we make money, we go home. You know what I mean? So I dig that about him. He didn't let go of, I'm a fighter. You know what I mean? And that everybody else has let go of being a fighter and has come into the world of the everything else. You know?
My body said it. He's a runner. He's a track star.
Who said that?
Hasim.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't watch that part.
Hey Logan, you mind if I ask you just one question before the press conference starts? Man?
Sure, bro.
Just wanted to know.
7 inches, brother. Slightly above average. I'm proud of it. The grip is solid. Any other questions?
I appreciate it. So what I wanted to know is, I know you're always confident when your brother goes into a fight, but this time around he's fighting like a legit boxer.
Sure.
You know, a guy that's 12 and won a bunch of knockouts. Like, do you think this is the toughest fight for your brother? And are you nervous?
No, I'm not nervous. I just believe in Jake so much. Like, whatever Jake says he's gonna do, he does. So, like, I don't know. I have an unwavering faith in my brother. So, whatever he says, I believe. And I'm on his team no matter what. So, no, I don't think. I definitely think it's his hardest fight for sure.
Do you think up until this point he's been getting, like, I guess, the right opponents in terms of, you know, being able to now fight a guy who's actually a boxer?
Yeah, he's navigated his boxing career incredibly intelligently. You know, he's picked really specific strategic opponents who should beat him every time. Every time there's something about his opponent that gives them the edge. And every time he comes out victorious, this guy's edge is he's a real boxer. I mean, he's 12-1. He's way more experienced than my brother, 100+ amateur fights, and yet Jake is still willing to take on that challenge. No one's doing that, bro. No one's ever done that in the history of boxing. No one's ever put as much as my brother is on the line this early in their career, and for that, like, no matter what anyone says about him, like, you gotta put respect on his name.
Absolutely. And just my last thing, so I can stop bothering you, man. Can I just get like your official prediction? Do you see like an early stoppage, a late stoppage? Do you see your brother breaking him down?
I think it's gonna be a knockout, just like the rest. I just like historically, everyone that Jake faces ends up the same way, just horizontal, face down on the canvas. I don't think it's gonna be any different.
Gotcha. I mean, you got a big following too, man. When are we gonna see you back in the ring, man? People love you.
I mean, I don't know, bro. I gotta go off the top rope in the WWE a couple more times. We'll see.
I'm not mad at that, man. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Logan, real quick,